Those who've grown up in Bangalore, I'm pretty much a Bangalore boy, and we have heard of this company since the late 70s, and there's a bit of a trust factor built up over the years. Although they've got into end-to-end construction in the last maybe 10 years, but we've always known them as one of the most powerful land bankers, and now with the vertical integration, they've got into construction. So there's a trust factor that we've already built in with Century, and they sort of are away from all controversies. So we sort of have that faith with the builder.
Well, one is when we were scouting for homes, the location really enticed me, like close to school, close to my in law's place, and right in the heart of the city. And of course, with so many amenities, my son uses the gym, the pool, and the squash court. I mean, I'm really happy with the amenities here.
I look at the macro factors, while she looks at more the micro factors like what are the amenities in the project. For me, it was in the heart of the city to get an acre and a half of breathing lung space was one of the most important factors. That where would you get an acre or two of a project right in the heart of the city? And then we have this Century is almost like we have a sort of a family, it has a sort of a family feeling with Century. It's a very next door neighbor sort of a builder. You could walk into their office, they're very accessible. So along with the brand name and the location and the way it was a low rise, the builder hadn't decided to cramp up too many apartments. He wanted a low rise, and I thought that's where I cemented the thought of moving here.
Well, the party hall that we have here. So we've already held like couple of parties because my kids are teenagers. So inviting their friends over, our friends over. So it's beautiful, the openness.
This is one of the very few projects where there's a squash court in the apartment complex, and also the comfort of knowing that the builder has given two basements of parking. I've never seen anything like this in Bangalore, with two levels of parking right in the heart of the city. So for a man, it's like you're comfortable, your cars are comfortable, your guests are comfortable, and also they have these spaces which I think at some point can work as good conference rooms. So if I have a sudden business visitor, I can call him down. And also, I think looking at the corridor space just the openness and the brightness of the project was something very.
Yeah, also after living, I mean, the support staff, the maintenance, housekeeping,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's more like, I've left all my worries of, as in an independent house in a bungalow, you have to take care of 10 things. So all that is hassle free now.
Our target was Lavelle Road, which is one of the premier roads in the heart of the city. But also we were getting standalone buildings with, smaller buildings, standalone, only 3 apartments. But with all the amenities and 1.5, 2 acres, I mean, next to UB City, I can't see another project like that. I can't see so much land freeing up. So for us, our whole life has been in the center. Our club is in the center, school is in the center, office is right across. So I think it's scores very high on the old saying of location, location, location.
At first, it was a layout that appealed because ultimately we have to live inside. So there were few changes that we did to our house, and got a little more of space. Maybe somewhere we took in the balconies in order to extend the size of the bedroom, and yes, also the dining area was extended.
I love the fact that if you give balconies, either you give big ones, which you guys did, so that we can actually use the balcony. There's some sense to the balconies. So I love that fact that we have good air space, we have balcony spaces,
We enjoy
and we
our
enjoy our outdoor
morning
tea
and
coffees over
yeah.
there. And also the internal space had a natural vastu to it, which was also very comforting. So we didn't really have to do a lot of crazy changes. Just with a few changes, we were up and going. Good thing with Century is that we had two options. Either we could take a fully done up apartment, or we could even go in for a bare shell where we could pretty much have our own choice of flooring, tiles, color, toilets, basically customize the whole apartment yourself. So I thought that flexibility was great, and that's what we did. We got in and took a bare shell and customized the whole thing. So we love that flexibility. So I'd break that into two parts when we actually bought the apartment. So and then the help that we got post that, because we almost customized the whole apartment, which means you need a lot of permissions to move some walls, or if you want to make a sort of change to your toilets and some move certain amenities. But going back to the original buying experience, I mean, we were invited here for the launch of the project, and it's been pretty smooth. We did in one or two goes we were able to close the deal, and right at the Century office with the directors of there. So it's been a good experience in that sense. Post that, because of lot of customization, they've been very helpful. I mean, every time we send a email out that get us this permission, or could you arrange for these workers, or any sort of help required was always there. Give and take 24-48 hours and we would get it. So it's been a sort of, I would say, a comfortable experience. It's not that we're going into places where we're not heard of, or people are not replying back, or going to dead ends. We've had quite an open communication, and permissions have been coming around, and also help and advice. The site engineers come up at times and give their options and what's a better way to do it. So I think, I mean, overall it's been a good experience.
Absolutely recommend Century Renata to all our friends, relatives.
If you have the budget, if you have the inclination to live in the heart of the city, and you have a high standard and bar, you want all amenities, I would 100% tell them this is the project for you. Location, amenities, budget, and it's Century. There's no other project. I would say only next to maybe Kingfisher Towers. I can't think of any other project in the heart of the city of this size. I'm a Bangalore boy, like I said. I've grown up with tales of business acumen of Mr. Dayanand Pai. So we've grown up looking at him as a business hero of sorts in terms of the land and the real estate business. And we've also heard the directors a couple of times across on different channels and media, and also met them. So we find them to be very gentlemanly, very accessible, and a very Bangalore brand, a very local home brand. It's not like the promoters are in some other city, or it's a venture fund, or where things are not accessible. So Century comes across as a very Bangalore homegrown brand, a very go-to next door, and the comfort level is there. It's a sentiment and comfort. So that's been a good experience with them, over time. I would say the Century has a whole wide basket of properties. I would break them into two. One is investment-based properties, others are self-use properties. So when it comes to self-use and you have the budget, I would recommend properties like, the Century, Renata, or maybe I've also passed by and seen Ethos. Looks like a very livable property. And then they have the plots and the lands, and then they have the other segment, which is the investment-based properties. And also then the leisure properties, like the plottings that are done on the north of Bangalore. Because I know Century is quite a sort of heavily on the north side of Bangalore. So I think they have a basket for everybody. There's a basket for the people wanting to live in with big budgets, self-use, and there's the investment basket properties. So I would recommend, in whichever basket you fall, you can sort of choose. They have a whole wide variety of properties.
Someone who's looking at thinking twice to move in here, you must just blindly just pick up the place, and very practical to live in with a good support staff. That's my message.
Location, budget, amenities. And we are looking for good neighbors. Please come. Heartbeats for century. Real estate for generations.